Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody, to Crisp ASMR. We're going to do something a little different. My friend sent me this website, neal.fun, and this makes me wonder if there's other things on this person's website. I'm kind of curious. Oh. Okay, this is what's going to happen eventually. I'm excited for that. But anyway, we're going to do absurd trolley problems. So the trolley problem, I actually didn't know this, but it seems like it was female philosophers, Philippa Foot, who, popularized this term, and J.J. Thomson. So that's really great to know. But yeah, the idea is it's a famous thought experiment where if there's a trolley leading to 5 people tied to a track, again, like thought experiments are not meant to reflect real life, but say the trolley was heading there and you could pull the lever, this is us, you could pull the lever to divert it to a separate track where only one person is tied to the track, killing one person instead of 5, would you do it? This and variations of this problem are used to either challenge or explore the utilitarian theories of morality, i.e. that the good action is the one that maximizes the most good, or in this case saves the most lives. Would you do it? And so this absurd trolley problems has like increasingly unhinged versions of the trolley problem. I'm going to talk through my thought process, and please let me know in the comments below if you agree or if you think differently. I'd love to know. I think this will be very fun and interesting. So, just as a fun flex, I did study a little bit of philosophy for fun in my uni days. And so kind of revisiting that side of me. So here we go. Oh no. A trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing one person instead. What do you do? Look at how the animation pops up. Okay, I think... So the issue is, can you pull the lever? Like, would you physically be able to do that action? I think it's right to pull the lever though. So I'm gonna pull the lever just because, you do, maybe your hands are bloodied with murder by killing the one person, but standing by and doing nothing as 5 people are killed or equally bloodied. Or makes your hands equally bloodied, so let's pull the lever. Splat. And 73% of people agree with us. Well, me, 27% disagree. Would you do it? I'm curious. So next problem. Oh no, a trolley is headed towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing 4 people instead. What do you do? Dun 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 dun. Oh gosh, okay, and now the stakes are upped. And I was gonna say, maybe a younger version of me would say, what if I step in front of the car and stop it myself and die? But adult me or older me, not so much. I think that's a good thing. At that point, I think I would hesitate much longer, but I'd probably still pull the lever to kill 4 people instead, Ouch, but it is painful, or... Yep, and then you can see 32% wouldn't. Oh, okay. Own life savings. No. Oh no, a trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, but then your life savings will be destroyed. What do you do? Oh, okay. So this is apt because I do like finance, as in I'm interested in financial literacy, but luckily my life savings are relatively minimal, or I think this question really depends on who you are, what stage you are at life. Like, if you're a child, you probably have very minimal life savings, and the cost isn't as much. But let's say you are countable, offensive. Yeah, that doesn't, never mind. If you are a, never mind. I did not know that. If you are an elderly person and you depend on your life savings and your capacity to work is limited, you know, and you need this income, and this is probably not, but then again, if you had like money, income, wealth generating assets, then your life savings in cash might not be so important. But I don't know. Okay, like I assume that as an elderly, you need your money. But anyway, okay, so for me personally, I'll ignore this for now. I could say I think I would not forgive myself if I, you know, valued my own life savings over the lives of 5 people that would be dangled over me like a thread. You know, the sword and the thread thing. Whatever that myth was. And so I'll have to go for pulling the lever. But I would not blame an elderly person or someone who had family dependent on them for, you know, choosing to do nothing. I kind of get it. Like, it's understandable. I don't know, is it? Is it understandable? But then again, let's say you pull it and then, you know, maybe these guys will reward you. But obviously that's neither here nor there regarding this particular scenario. Someone might not like that you're doing it for benefit. And the craziest thing is that more people would actually not do it. So before there was like 60 something, and now only 50, like slightly over half would do it. Now it's getting juicy. Oh my gosh. Oh no, a trolley is heading towards 5 people. I could pull the lever to divert it to the track, sacrificing yourself instead. What do you do? Okay. I don't think I could do it. I think if I wanted to be some kind of hero figure, I could do it, but I don't think I would, you know. I don't think I would, and I don't know if... Ooh, could you really pull the lever? Could you really pull the lever to save 5 people? This one is 50-50 for me. I think there could be instances where I could see it happening, but I don't know if I really could do that. Maybe bank on that 1% chance that I do survive. Ooh. Don't know if I could actually pull it to sacrifice myself. I think if it some form of self-sacrifice for others, doable for sure, but actually actively choosing to kill or to get myself run over 5 people, 5 strangers, by the way. Like, I really don't know these people, and they could be terrible people. I don't know if I could do it in this exact moment, but this one might change. It really depends. This one I'm not really sure about. Let's say do nothing. What would you do? Ouch. That hurt. So you can see 2/3 of the world agree. Almost. Interesting. I'm sorry, but I'll try and I don't know. Ooh. Oh no, a trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, but then the original copy of the Mona Lisa will be destroyed. Who cares? Oh, upstairs is thumping. Okay, who cares? Yeah, it's just a painting. Okay, 26% of people would rather 5 people die. Like, I like art. I love art. But, you know, there are lots of new artists creating beautiful art. And I know that we'll never get the Mona Lisa original back, but, like, we've already appreciated. So, whereas a human life is, like, you know, priceless, right? no, a trolley is heading towards a rich man. The rich man offers you 500,000 to pull the lever, which would divert the trolley and kill someone else. What do you do? I do not like the sound of this rich man, and purely on that alone, I will do nothing. Because in the face of you dying, 500,000 is nothing. I think it's crazy that you're offering $500,000. If he's really rich, I'm sure he has more than $500,000. But regardless, I don't think you should bribe for this. This is just unfortunate. Do nothing. Goodbye. Sorry, that was mean. But frankly, I don't know. I can say that because I don't feel like. And again, maybe let me think. US dollars, 500,000 US dollars. So I'm in where I am. That's okay. Where I am, honestly, that would get a mortgage, but not maybe a actual whole decent, a proper good new house. And I would just live with the guilt of killing a guy, being bribed to kill another guy. And if he's rich, how did he get rich? Maybe he's a evil, maybe he's a bad boss, mistreating his employees. So I don't feel guilty. Oh no. A trolley is heading towards 5 lobsters. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, running over a cat instead. What do you do? Okay, I understand that those are 5 lives. We are just humans closer to mammal species like cats, and I love cats, and I appreciate the life of lobsters too, but man, is it fair to say that, for a cat you can hear their screams and you can see blood, right? Which is much more visceral to us mammals than, say, the lobster shell cracking, but the shell cracking is nasty. Oh, like snails when they crack, and if someone accidentally steps on them, it's gross. But I need to save a cat. Lobsters also we eat as a species. I mean, that's not their fault, but it's the socially, right? I'm going purely off of selfishness. I would rather let the lobsters, but especially it gets harder when it gets smaller, right? Mosquitoes or bugs, cockroaches, which people squish without really caring. Oh, interesting. Trolley heading towards 5 people sleeping and won't feel pain. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, running over someone who is wide awake instead. What do you do? Okay, so here is where utilitarianism, I think, gets a little more complex, right? We are also calculating the pleasures versus the pain. So the actual pain of the incident, so being run over, versus the utility of 5 lives over the 1 life, where we kind of consider factors in the future as well, the lives they will lead, whether they'll make great impacts on the world, and the families that will miss them. There's 5 more families and friends that will miss these guys than this one person. But how does that weigh against, the physical pain that he'll feel before dying? And personally, I don't think that's makes much of a difference. Just because he's awake to feel the pain doesn't mean that is enough to offset the damage that you do to the 5 sets of communities and the 5 lives. So although it's terrible and I'll probably be haunted by this man's screams in my nightmares, I should have never assumed their gender. By this person's screams in my nightmares, yes, and it will be horrible and I'll need therapy forever. I think you have to pull the lever. You have to. Oh, people disagree. That is interesting. And we see 1 million less people have done it. And they'll wake up and then they'll go back to their lives and they'll realize that someone died for their sake. Probably everyone needs some trauma therapy as well. Oh, okay. Personal choices. Oh no. A trolley is heading towards 5 people who tied themselves to the track. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing one person who accidentally tripped onto the track instead. What do you do? And this is where that concept of autonomy and personal choice matters. I don't know if it's John Rawls or whoever, John Locke. I don't know. You can do, I guess it would be Locke, like you can do whatever doesn't infringe on the freedom and rights of others. And if these guys chose to be here smiling, like who am I to say they shouldn't be there? And I guess this is where utilitarianism conflicts with autonomy. If what you choose is actually not very utilizing, full of utility, high utility, because maybe they are going to make some families upset. But we don't know that. I shouldn't assume. But maybe they all agreed, all their families agreed. And they understand why they tied them to the track. So based on zero knowledge on these people's lives, I think it's only fair to let the 5 people die. Like at this point they chose it, and also I can walk away, like I don't have to do anything. They're smiling. I think this art is great. So we have to do nothing because we respect their choice. And then, you know, they're gonna be upset when we divert the track. This guy is gonna be upset, you know, and his family or their family is gonna be upset when they're like, why did you pull it? Like, these guys, you should have gotten those guys instead. So, yep, bye-bye. I'm sorry that you chose this, but who am I to stop you, you know? Assuming they were rational and whatnot. Mercy. Oh, gosh. Oh, no, a trolley is heading towards 5 people, so this guy's just there for decoration. The lever just speeds up the trolley, which might make it less painful. What do you do? The keyword here is might. Like, I don't know if it might make it less painful. What if it makes it, you know, even more guaranteed? The no survival. And it feels really, what's the word? I was gonna say Cantonese. But it feels really nosy. Like, yeah, like busybody, minding other people's business. If you pull a lever, that will change nothing but just add the pain. Like, I don't think that's for me to decide. Is it cruel if knowing that it might speed it up, which might make it less painful? Is it cruel to ignore it? At the end of the day, they're going to die, so do I see a difference? It's more like this uncertainty. I don't know if it's worth this risk, and I'm quite a risk-averse person. You can't tell when I play chess, but in other bets, I'm quite risk-averse, and I don't want to deal with that, so I think I'll just ignore it. How interesting. Okay, 28% of people agree. It's just that, like, I don't have enough information, and if I don't have enough information, I don't want to make a judgment. But if I knew for certain it would make it less painful, and there was no way they would survive, then I would pull it. I think that's fine. Minor inconvenience. The trolley's heading towards one guy. You can pull the lever to divert it to another track, but then your Amazon package will be late. What do you do? What do you mean? Obviously pull the lever. Like, it's fine. I think that's a perfect... I'm gonna feel so good about myself that I sacrificed a minor inconvenience to save a life. Like, that would give me ego for days. I know ego is not a good reason, but yeah, and I can't believe 23% of people would disagree. Like, are you... What? That's concerning. That is actually concerning. What? Oh no, a trolley is heading towards your best friend. No. No, I like how my best friend has glasses. That is like, ugh, no. You can pull a lever to divert it to the track, killing 5 strangers instead. What do you do? Can you really look your best friend in the eye and not save them? I think no. Like, assuming this is my best friend, and you know, the villain would sacrifice the world to save the one they loved. And I think that's just the way it should be. I'm sorry. I'm a romantic. And I guess most people are too. I don't know who these 26% are who would sacrifice their best friend. I don't know. Maybe they're the heroes, you know? Maybe that's the hero that the world needs, but, you know, can they live with themselves? I don't know. Ooh, can't see. Oh no, a trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing 1 person instead. At least, that's what you think is happening. You forgot your glasses and can't see that well. What do you do? Alright. So this is again that risk aversion in play. If I don't know what's happening, that's gonna affect my chances. So let's do this as probability now, right? I have like an equal chance. Basically, it's a lottery. Where before you know that you will be saving 1 person, now there's a 50% chance that you save a person. Do you take the 50% chance, or there's a 50% chance that doing nothing will save nobody? Sorry, will save the person. And then by that point, your action of pulling the lever has made you kind of even more involved in this moral decision. And you will have to live with whatever happened. And that could be that you killed 5 people and you'll have to live with that, and you pulled a lever which resulted in 5 people dying, and that's not even what you wanted. I think I don't pull it. I think that's too much for my brain. I just walk away and cry. Yeah, so the uncertainty makes me very passive. I guess that's a really revealing thing about myself. Like, that's a good thing to realize. I think that's true. Like, I am... That is an accurate assessment of my character. Interesting. Alright, cousins. Okay. Oh no, a trolley is heading towards one of my first cousins. And I'm gonna ignore my real cousins, you know, in this. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing 3 of your second cousins instead. What do you do? Now, in theory, you wouldn't pull because you're saving 3 people. But your first cousin, okay, let's ignore. Because I do like my cousins, and that's what makes this difficult. That is what makes this very difficult. But it's like they're distant enough that maybe the rule of maximizing the lives saved still applies. I'm sorry, first cousin. Don't hate me, real cousins. Gosh, I hope they're not watching this. They better not be. Yeah, okay, it's not personal. Again, like, I'm assuming this person, I know nothing about their relationship with these cousins. It's just purely a numbers game. Okay. Norm, baby versus old people. Okay. Oh no, a trolley is heading towards 5 elderly people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, running over a baby instead. What do you do? Okay, so the idea is the baby has more potential of life ahead of it, right? Whereas these 5 elderly are 5 lives, but they've already lived out. They're at the tail end of their life now, and you know, they're not as much life. Maybe between them, let's say they each have 10 years to live. That's another 50 years of life, or utility in this case. And this baby might grow to live to 70, let's say, or 80 even, or 90. And then that, in terms of years, is more years than these guys combined. So that might compel some people to save the baby. Oh, which is kind of a convincing argument. But I always think of, like, utility as, like, you know, think of the families impacted when you kill 5 people. And a baby, maybe because they're so fresh, it's like they don't have as much to lose. The trolley problem is cruel. But obviously in that moment, having to choose the pull the lever to choose the baby is crazy. But I feel like also humans, or at least this, our society is very baby driven. Like we love babies. And if you think about the impact on, I guess, like social security, then this baby will join the workforce, whereas these elderly may be already out of the workforce, so society might want you to save the baby. But this isn't about what society wants, this is about what I would do. Do I care about society's interests? And like the fact that these parents, is it mean? I don't know. I mean, both are terrible options. And is it 1 versus 5? Yeah, I think I have to pull it. But obviously, I could see variations where I do nothing and let the baby live. If I was if I was the government, that's what would be good, But let's. This is our act of rebellion. Ooh, wow. People disagree. You know what? That makes sense. I think my logic was a little bit sociopathic, maybe. I don't know. You let me know what you think. More clones. Oh no, a trolley is barreling towards 5 identical clones of you. You can pull the lever to divert to the other track, sacrificing yourself instead. What do you do? Again. I'm living. These clones are not surviving. How is this the one that was easiest? 88% agree. I guess that was cruel and selfish, but that's okay. Or no, a trolley is heading towards a mystery box with a 50% chance of containing 2 people. Oh my god, it's Schrodinger's whatever box. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, hitting a mystery box with a 10% chance of 10 people instead. What do you do? Okay, so this is expected utility theory, right? EUT, coined by whatever guy I'm gonna flash up on the screen. So 10% of 10 chance of 10 people means it's a like 1, what's it called? Like 10%, it's 100% chance of 1. So I mean, it's the expected utility is you're gonna kill 1 person, but the 50% chance of 2, I'm not really that great at this probability math. Once upon a time I was. Okay, 50% chance of 2 people means that it's also 1 person, so both are 1 person. Like the utility is the expected value of people that you will kill is 1 person. But if you do run over 10 people, then that's like a bigger damage than if you run over 2 people. So I think we pull the lever. Wait, no, we don't pull the lever. I clicked the wrong button. I meant I would have gone for not pulling it. My bad. Sorry. So I would rather kill 2 people. It seems rational, but obviously 90%, you know what, both, I don't know, both are not. So the fact that there is a difference, although it's minor in this case, actually, yeah, the fact that people disagree on something that is like probability wise the same, like technically the same utility, like expected utility according to EUT, shows that humans are not just purely rational. Like if we have preferences over one or the other. And I think that was what really interested me in like behavioral economics. I thought that was really, really cool. But this blows my mind, so I don't know. Maybe I think I would still go with 50% chance 2 people, so that at least, even the worst case scenario, it's just 2 people who die. I think that makes sense to me. But I'm in the minority. Okay, I am robot. A trolley is heading towards 5 sentient robots. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing 1 human instead. What do I do? Well, maybe I'm speciesist, but I guess I do nothing and let the sentient robots die. But then I think of 2B and 9S. No, they can die, because their consciousness can get, you know, rebooted into another body, so it's fine. Whereas this human cannot. That's what's special about humans, right? People agree. That is crazy. I wonder who disagrees. So 7 million, 15% of 7 million is a solid like million people. Economic damage. The trolley is heading towards 3 empty trolleys worth 900,000. You can pull a lever to divert it, hitting 1 empty trolley worth $300,000. Sure, less economic damage. I don't mind. It's the same as the people thing, right? I guess this is where it clashes for the people who would do nothing in the original trolley problem. Like, why would you let 5 people get run over when you could have diverted it? Whereas if you compare it to cars, you'd easily move it. But I guess some people are not bothered to save the economic damage. And you know what? Fair enough, because it's not even your economic damage. But let's say you owned these trolleys. Then I guess you would, right? Naturally, you would. So that, you know, again, proves, I guess. I use that word loosely, but proves that you want to maximize utility. You're not just going to let nature run its course if you could divert it. Like that penguin thing in the BBC. Okay, external costs. This is getting complicated. Oh no, a trolley is releasing 100 kilograms of CO2 per year, which will kill 5 people over 30 years. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, hitting a brick wall and decommissioning the trolley. What do you do? Yeah, I do it. Right, so I guess the idea is that Valley Girl, local fry, the idea is that like the benefits, like the utility, is not realized immediately. You know, it's like preventative, it's prophylactic. I learned that word from chess, prophylactic. It's preventative. So even though right now, like you don't see the benefit now, it pays off after like the 30 years. Sure. I mean, we don't like CO2 anyway. I don't know what the benefit was. What? Oh no, you're a reincarnated being who will eventually be reincarnated as every person in this classic trolley problem. What do you do? I don't get it. I pull the lever then, so I can at least experience the pain only once. 50% disagree. Interesting. This is such a perfect split. But I mean, if I had to experience it, I'd rather experience it only once than 5 times. Harmless prank. Oh no, a trolley is heading towards nothing, but you kind of want to prank the trolley driver. What do you do? What? Leave it alone. What? Just, what? Okay. I have no comment on that. Guess that's why prank YouTube is popular, huh? Back in the day. What was it? Logan Paul? Anyway. Bad citizen, good citizen. Ooh, no, a trolley is heading towards a good citizen. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, running over someone who litters instead. What do you do? Okay, their crime is littering. How did I have access to this information? You know what? I do want to keep the good person alive. Obviously, it's cruel, but like, hi, good person. Eternity. Oh no, due to a construction error, a trolley is stuck in an eternal loop. If you pull the lever, the trolley will explode. And if you don't, the trolley and its passengers will go on in circles for eternity. What do you do? Oh wow, that's really sad. The sad thing is like that loss of autonomy, right? Like in The Good Place. Don't know if you watched The Good Place. Spoilers if you haven't watched The Good Place on Netflix. But the idea was they had eternal heaven, and then they could choose when they wanted to end the eternal heaven. And then in the end, it's like really touching when Chidi decides like he's happy, but they've had an eternity together, but he's had enough and he's finally ready to rest. My gosh, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Because in theory, like, if you had eternal happiness, why would you, like, you could just go on forever. And then your consciousness would never have to die, but then he just decided to end it. And I think there's something beautiful about that, because maybe humans weren't meant to last forever. Like, even though obviously religions and stuff believe in the eternal, wonderful afterlife, but even that, like I don't know if that's literal. Like, I don't know how literal that kind of afterlife is. And if it was, and if you're still conscious, and like, you know, like at some point maybe you just get, like, forever makes things not precious. I don't know. And you want to have an autonomous end to it. But here, it's not like Chidi and Eleanor, like, you don't get the choice. But you, as an outsider, are deciding whether or not to pull the trolley to end eternity. Or you just let them go on for eternity. And there's assuming there was a way to communicate with the people inside, then I'd want to do that. And I'd want to see what they wanted, so I could just help them enact that, right? But now this is purely on like what I decide is the best experience for them, which I guess is a trolley problem. Like, that's what the trolley problem is. But in this case, but for the original trolley problem, it's a moral decision that I make based on like utility versus like what's right, like murder. But this case is just like, I am an unsuspecting witness. I'm just a random witness to this situation, and I don't know what is good or bad. Like, I don't think this is a moral choice as much, or it's not like a comparison of two different groups of people I'm killing. I think it's just, what do I believe is the less cruel choice for these people. I think eternity is quite cruel. But I don't know if that's a moral judgment or if that's just like a personal kind of philosophy. So maybe I end their pain. Like this, it's like stagnancy, right? Like there's no progress made. And that's quite sad. But if I assume they're having a decent time in the train, then like, you know, then it's eternal, it's generative utility. Like, there's generating utility. But based on the same idea that made Chidi want to leave the afterlife, so I will pull the lever and play God just this one time. Yeah. Oh no, a trolley is heading towards your worst enemy. You can pull the lever to divert the trolley and save them, or you can do nothing and no one will ever know. This is key, isn't it? No one would ever know. There's no one to judge your actions. Except for you, and do you have a conscience? And personally, I do. Like, I think, okay, how bad is this? I'm grateful that in my life I really don't think I have like such someone so bad. Okay, the point is, like, I can imagine there are terrible people, because it's like, this is like, worst enemy is so subjective, right? Like, worst enemy could be like there are degrees of worst enemies, and like, you know, someone who, let's say it's like a genocidal, you know, like it's like a villain, like a genocidal villain. There's a case to be made that, you know, or like someone who's a convicted, like, kind of, you know, one of those creepy serial killer, like sexual offender types. And, you know, definitely there's a case to be made for that, right? Like, that I can personally say I have zero sympathy, and I'm very happy to let them, you know, let nature run its course. But like for just like a, you know, someone you'd like kind of vaguely dislike, like, that's not justifiable. Like, it's not. Like, it's really not. Like, regardless of, maybe your life might feel convenienced, but you're gonna live with that guilt over someone that you just vaguely disliked. And then, like, obviously that's an extreme spectrum from, serial to a vague dislike. But, like, somewhere in between, let's say, like, someone you genuinely despise, like, I don't know, I still think it's not for us to, like, murder's wrong. So, based on that, we have to save the guy. Wow. That's concerning. But if this person is actively an enemy because they are, going out and harming others, then I think, yes, like, leave it. But otherwise, like, yeah, gotta pull the lever, Gotta do what you gotta do. Like, gotta do your part. Let's go up to, okay, lifespan. Oh no, a trolley is heading towards a person that will lower their lifespan by 50 years. You can pull the lever to divert the trolley and lower the lifespan of 5 people by 10 years instead. What do you do? Oh, wow. This is mathematically, the utility of 50 years is the same. But, I don't know, there's like the cruelty is spread out. It's kind of like, would you rather have like 5 people like mildly wounded or 1 person badly wounded? And I feel like it's good to spread out the damage, and then they can form a support group. It feels a bit cruel just for this 1 person. Maybe I pull the lever. Yeah. I mean, both are terrible, but at least no one's dying, and everyone's kind of gotten a fair outcome. Like, oh yeah, like a relatively equal outcome. Although these guys might hate us forever. A trolley is heading... Okay, time machine. A trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, sending the trolley into the future to kill 5 people 100 years from now. What do you do? I think purely on the fact that, okay, so you're still committing murder. It's just in the future. And in the future, you feel, I suppose, morally more distanced from your decision, from your choice that you made. And so maybe you live with yourself better knowing you spared these 5 people, but you are still a murderer in the future. But it sounds good because this is too hard to watch them die knowing you could have saved these particular people, and at least you're murdering people you don't know. But then I realized that logic could be applied to things like global warming, where you are providing maybe fun goods and services now, but then you're kind of messing up the planet for future generations, which is also bad. And what kind of duty do we have to people in the future? So yeah, I guess I just don't want to deal with the consequences of my actions, so I'll send it to the future. But I guess this kind of thinking is very I can understand how this thinking is potentially dangerous in cases of things like global warming or taking responsibility for actions that could compound into worse effects for the future. And I suppose, like, the reason we think about the future generations is because the generation before us, at least hopefully, thought about us and didn't send things into the future that would kill us. But in this case, if it's a choice between people dying now versus people dying later, I'd rather pull the lever. And maybe in 100 years they could think of ways to save the people who are going to die. Alright. Free will. A trolley problem is playing out before you. Do you actually have a choice in this situation, or has everything been predetermined since the universe began? Since the universe began? What's that song? I don't know. Please let me know if you know what song I'm talking about. Since the beginning of the universe. I don't know. Since the universe began. Okay. Okay, so we are leaving the trolley problem and entering the field of like moral, I guess, like, what's it called, metaphysics of morality. Like, do we have this choice anyway to begin with? And in that case, if we don't actually have the choice, if it was predetermined that I would make this decision, then is it fair for me to be judged on my actions, since it's not like I had any actual control over it? But even if I didn't have control over it, like whether my choice to not pull or pull is shaped by my environment, my genes, and whatever, like, that doesn't mean we don't punish the crime. I think, and also, like, I tend to, at the end of the day, I tend to be very okay, like, it's hard because it's true, like, a lot of, like, basically most of what we do is, we think we're original, but we're just shaped by, you know, scientific forces, right? Like, what I was exposed to leads me to make a certain choice on the trolley problem, or to have a certain opinion on what is the good choice and what is the correct choice. And that doesn't mean that I am, you know, does that mean I'm really choosing it if my preferences were shaped by the way I grew up? But I tend to lean towards that kind of existentialist view where no matter what, like, in that moment of pulling the lever, like as Jean-Paul Sartre would say, you have that freedom to leap off the cliff or not. Like, you, in that moment, doesn't matter what your choice was, you still have that choice to pull or not. You can will it to existence. Like, no one, yes, the factors that created you may lead you to lean a certain way, but you could always defy that. Like, nothing's stopping you from jumping off the proverbial cliff. Like, you still have freedom to do whatever. Like, you still have free will. And I told my friends this free will story about the bubble tea, but I don't know if that's relevant. Maybe I'll just talk about it at the end. Maybe after we'll end at level 30. I hope that's a good place we can continue another time. Maybe I'll do part 2 if this is exciting. And then, but I'll end at 30 and talk about the bubble tea free will. But anyway, I think I do have a choice. I think that, and also, like, living like we have free will is kind of the, what's that word? It's kind of the is presupposed. I think free will is presupposed in our, like, the way we go about the world. Otherwise we just go insane. Like, if I didn't think I actually had free will. But obviously, like, whether I think I have free will is different from the reality of free will, but I think I have no choice. I do not have a choice but to think that I have a choice. And then eventually, you know, if I stay here, I could spiral into existential dread, but we are not going to spiral. This is a ASMR relaxing video. I should call this ASMR existential dread. Oh, congratulations, you have solved philosophy, and the train is on fire, and my kill count is 62. Okay, guys, let me know if you play the absurd trolley problems, how many people you kill. This is interesting. Okay, this is I never knew it ended here and that you have a kill count. That's really cool. My goodness. I think 62 is not bad. You know, then again, it was like 5, 1, so, like, that's sets of, that's, what's 5? 60 divided by 5? 12 sets of 5 guys being killed. It'd be like that. I think they were sacrificed in the name of philosophy, as many good things were. Unfortunately. Okay, so the bubble tea. Me realizing that, like, my whole life I was told that you need to order bubble tea with sugar. I don't know if where you live you can choose the sweetness settings. I assume you can, but I always was told that, you know, you need bubble tea with sugar. It's psychopathic if you don't drink it with sugar. And I just believed that, when I drink milk tea to begin with, I don't even add sugar. And yet, and I always think that I have a decent, like, I think for myself, I like to think, but like I never questioned why I always ordered a little bit of sugar with my bubble tea, because duh, it's a dessert. Like I need it to be sweet, but I don't even take my regular hot milk tea with sugar. So I can't. And then when I saw my friend order a no sugar bubble tea, like somehow that blew my mind. Like I had a moment, I had an epiphany, and I was like, oh my gosh, why did I always in the past order a bit of sugar when I watched her do it? And I was like, wow, like I don't actually have to order it with sugar. And the only reason I do is because everyone else did, and that's what I was told I had to do. But you know, I don't have to. And in that moment, I kind of came face to face with my free will. Somehow nothing more profoundly put me face to face with free will than the fact that I could order no sugar-free bubble tea, like just no sugar and just the bubbles, because the bubbles are already sweet. Like the tapioca pearls have sugar in them. And then I asked my friend if I could try a sip of hers, and she was like, sure. And I tried it, and it was pretty good. And so now I realized, like now I have autonomy over my choice of sugar level in my bubble tea. Like when I choose the sugar level, I am making a conscious decision, exercising my free will. Yeah. So whereas before I was a lamb, I was a sheep. That's the bubble tea free will story. Thank you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this exploration, this deep dive into the absurd trolley problems. Again, let me know if you agreed or disagreed with my reasoning and why. Like, I think this is so fascinating, and what makes ethics always so interesting to me is how you argue it. And I don't, and even the fact whether you think something is always objectively right or wrong can be argued too. Like, is there really a objective idea of good or bad? And I don't know. Like, I think the more I do this, the more I realize I don't know. We all just live with what we think we know, right? And if you enjoyed this, please consider liking, subscribing, supporting the channel, leave a comment. And I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, please stay well. And I'll see you again soon.